Hey guys, so I wanted to put together a video that would help out, other broadcasters who are, either looking to set up or are struggling to set up a dual PC audio setup without using any virtual audio. Virtual audio stuff like Voice Meter Banana is great. It has its upsides and its downsides, but I wanted to move to a purely kind of hardware solution. Being able to use, because I'm a musician, I already have a bunch of mixers. I essentially wanted to be able to do a dual PC audio setup using a single mixer and meeting two requirements. The first requirement being that the game audio needs to be stereo. It's important for me, as well as the viewers on the stream, to be able to hear the directional audio, when I'm playing things like first-person shooters. And the second requirement is that I want to be able to monitor all of the inputs into the mixer, except for the microphone. I don't like to hear my voice while I'm broadcasting, although my current setup allows me to essentially turn on monitoring if I'm doing something like maybe singing vocals for, for a cover track or something like that. Because as you guys know, I do a lot of music stuff. I'm going to be covering essentially what you need to get the dual PC audio setup using the single mixer with those two requirements met. And then it's like the bare minimum for that. And then I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of an elaborate setup built on top of that that allows me to do both of those things, as well as have my guitar and synthesizer, and drum set, everything also going into the mix, so that I can do what I do on my stream, which is a whole bunch of gameplay interspersed with a whole bunch of music fun. So, yeah, let's hop right into it. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to show you the actual real hardware setup that I have. It's going to be a little bit hard to follow because I have a little bit more of a complicated setup than most people are going to need, and also the cable management is insane, so it's going to be hard to follow everything through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys after this all the settings that I have on both my stream and my game PC in terms of audio inputs and outputs, and then I'm going to show you guys an actual diagram that's much cleaner and much easier to follow, but how all this stuff is connected. But like I said, as you can see, I have a much more complicated setup than most people are going to need, because I'm running things like a set of V drums. I got my electric guitar plugged in into this V amp from Behringer for guitar effects. I've got loop station and synthesizers and stuff on the other side of the room. Most of that stuff isn't going to matter here, so you can basically ignore these two things. But what's relevant is essentially there's three inputs into the mixer. The first input is the microphone. Now I have my microphone plugged in. It's a Shure SM7B, and I have that going into XLR, into the blue box way in the back, into a Cloudlifter. There's a million videos on that. You see why you need the Cloudlifter when you're using a microphone like I have. But then that XLR goes right into line 1 on the mixer, and then essentially I have this turned all the way down because we don't want the microphone to go to the main mix. The microphone is actually going to be its own separate channel or own separate track. I don't want it to be included in the main mix. I don't want to hear it, and I want to be able to control it separately on the game PC. Sorry, the stream PC. So in order to do that, I can turn the volume down here, and I hit this other button, mute, Alt 3-4. Essentially, what this does is it tells the mixer that I should not send the audio, the main mix, mute it. And it'll send it to essentially the Alt 3-4, which I could control separately and have separate outputs and separate monitoring if I want to, but I don't need that for this case. All I need to do is turn up this aux knob, which, let me see if I can get a better view of it. I turn up aux, which then sends the microphone audio into the aux 1, and right over here, turn up the volume on the aux send, which then routes all of the audio that goes to the aux channel into this output back here, which is the aux send 1. Now that ends up going directly into a hum reducer, and then back out into this guy right here, which is a essentially a 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch adapter. You actually don't even need both because this is mono. The aux 1 and 2 are mono outputs. But I just did this to take some tension off the cable there. And I'm going to get into why you need those hum reducers back there. And I'll show you why at the end of the video. But essentially, that's the microphone. And the inputs for the stream PC and the game PC, they both follow sort of a similar pattern as before. I have this headphone out, which is an 1/8 inch that goes into stereo 1/4 inch, those the silver cables, which then goes into a hum reducer, and then back out into the tracks 5.6 and 7.8. These are the inputs for. Am I going to be able to see that? Can you focus? The stream PC and the game PC. So those come in here. They're stereo, and I can control them with these faders. So that's nice and easy. And those are going on the main mix. So you can control the main mix left and right stereo with these two faders here. And then that is ends up going out the USB out the back into the stream PC, which I have all routed through these little sleeves here to make it a little bit cleaner. So what else do we have here? We have the headphones. The headphones come out through the phones. The way that we feed the audio into the headphones is by sending the main mix right here, this button, main mix to headphones, which I can then control the volume of the headphones here. That goes out into the back of my Sennheiser guy here. So it's basically just a 1/4 inch to RCA. So that's how I'm able to get stereo audio there. And I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, I don't think you really need to do anything else to be able to get stereo audio into your headphones from your game PC and stream PC back in your stream PC, as well as the microphone audio into line 1. Okay, so now looking at the PC settings, we're looking at the desktop of my gaming PC, and I'll just show you guys that the gaming PC doesn't have any inputs to it currently. If I want to do any Discord or anything like that, I just run that through my stream PC. So for the sake of this setup, it's essentially a single playback device, which is the Realtek high definition audio, which is essentially the headphone jack out, that I showed you guys earlier, which is 1/8 inch, ends up going through the hum reducer, which then ends up as a couple of 1/4 inch, left and right channel into the 5 and 6 line of the mixer. Other than that, I mean, I just turn the volume up on all my input sources, on all the game audio and everything like that, and I can independently control all of the volume for all of this stuff with the fader on that line 5 and 6. Okay, so then looking at the stream PC audio, whoa, we got OBSception here. We can see that we have essentially the same playback source, which is the headphone out, 1/8 inch through the hum reducer into the channel 7 and 8 on the mixer. So again, that's something that I can then control independently with the fader for the stream PC. And so that's the output. And then for recording devices, this is my camera. I actually don't use this audio for anything. It just happens to be picking me up talking. But essentially, I have the mic. It goes into the mixer aux, or mixer line 1, which then goes out through the aux send. So as you can see, this is the microphone here, and then the USB out from the mixer into the PC is everything else. So that's like the game audio, the game PC audio, all that stuff. So we have these 2 inputs, 1 output, and then if we look at OBS, take a look at the settings here. I've disabled essentially everything, except the first mic device is the USB audio, like I said before. The second one is the aux send, as I mentioned. So this is basically the microphone. This is the mixer. And then I disabled the desktop audio because I don't want OBS to pick up the desktop audio, because the desktop audio, which is Spotify, the alerts, everything, is going to be sent out through to the mixer, which is going to send it back to the stream PC. I don't want to then have that get caught and then sent back into the mixer. You end up with an infinite loop, and you're going to have a bad time. So yeah, basically have these two inputs here that if I need to, I can control them independently. I almost never have to change these two values. If anything, I might need to turn Spotify down in relation to like my alerts, for the stream. But in general, I almost never have to mess with anything other than a few knobs on the mixer at arm's reach without having to alt tab out of anything. It's really nice, really convenient, pretty slick. Yep. So that's basically the PC setup. And now let me show you guys the ugly diagram that I put together. Okay. So here's the diagram that I put together. I'm sorry it's terrible, but it'll do the trick. I'll throw a link in the description below for like an Imager link or something where I'll have this uploaded in case anybody wants to look at it after the fact. You can grab it, you can save it. But essentially, what I tried to do is all of the green arrows are inputs into the mixer, and the red arrows are outputs out from the mixer. So starting with the microphone, I've got the Shure SM7B, which goes into the Cloudlifter and then into line 1 using XLR cables. This is all mono. Let me see if I can zoom in here. There's a button here that I showed you earlier. This is where you enable the mute, which sends it to basically Alt 3.4, which we're not going to use, but what it does is it mutes it from the main mix, and then you'll turn up the knob for the aux send here as well as here, and then eventually I'll get to that output later. Actually, we might as well just jump to it now. So the microphone comes in through here. It's then going to essentially get routed to aux, not to the main mix. Turn up both of those aux volume knobs, and then aux 1 ends up coming out into a hum reducer, and then into the microphone input on the streaming PC, which is what I showed you guys before. That was the aux send on the stream PC. And one thing I forgot to mention too is I downmix the aux send in OBS in the advanced settings to mono so that you get basically the same in both ears. All right, so the gaming PC has the headphone out, which I basically have like a bunch of adapters and stuff because I didn't have the exact cables I needed. But essentially, I have it through the headphone out, which goes into the hum reducer, stereo, which then goes into lines 5 and 6. So with this fader, I control the game audio. And then essentially the identical setup for the stream PC. It comes out through the headphone output into another hum reducer and into line 7 and 8, which again, we control the volume here, and that goes basically back into the main mix, which everything there ends up going for the USB output from the mixer to the stream PC, which is stereo, which is something that most of the tutorials don't have. They have it backwards. They have a lot of the outputs that you want a stereo going out to the aux, and the mono outputs going out through the only thing that can do stereo in this case, which is the USB. Because yeah, both of the aux and the FX, those sends are both mono. So that's why I wanted to send the mic out through the aux and everything else out through USB. So yeah, and then that goes right into the microphone input onto the stream PC, which, like I said, I showed you guys earlier. And I think that covers most of the stuff there. One of the things you have to do with this mixer is push this button here, which essentially sends the main mix to the headphones, which then you can control with this knob. So the main mix will end up being the gaming PC, the streaming PC, and anything else you plug in here. So basically everything minus the track 1, which is the microphone, like I said, because you don't want to hear it. If you end up turning this fader up and you press this button again, you'll hear your voice. So if I ever want to, like I said, monitor, I can do that by just pressing that button. But otherwise, it doesn't go out to the main mix. And then, yeah, I just have essentially the headphones I have are the Sennheiser R185. So I have a headphone jack, 1/4 inch to RCA into the back of this guy here. So that's where I get my stereo audio, which most importantly ends up being the stereo from the gaming PC, so I can get the stereo audio. And there's no latency, no lag, no delay that I can discern. So there's no issues with that when playing games. But yeah, so that's basically the setup in a nutshell. I want to show you guys a couple other things. One thing being what happens when you don't have one of these hum reducers in between all of the digital analog connections. I think I might be able to capture some of that audio and show you guys what it sounds like and how annoying it is. All right, so what I actually did was I took the output from my game PC, and rather than plugging it into the hum reducer and then going out from the hum reducer into the mixer, I just skipped the hum reducer and went straight into the mixer. And if I turn up the track that it's plugged into, you'll start to hear the kind of effects that you're going to hear if you do not have the hum reducer in between the PC and the mixer. It's really fucking annoying. All right, guys. So I hope that helped some people out. Hope it maybe answered some questions that a few people had. If any of you have any more questions, definitely leave a comment down below. I usually get to the comments pretty quickly. So I would love to be able to help out if I can. If you have a different set of requirements, or you want to do something totally different, this might not be for you. But out of all of the tutorial videos that I saw that had to do with using a mixer to set up audio for dual PC stream, none of them could do what I wanted. So hopefully this provides some sort of service to the community. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And maybe if you're feeling gracious, you can come by the stream and say hello next time I'm live. I look forward to seeing you guys. See you later.